Hello, Moo, and good evening. Welcome to the Pinktron. I am Craig Martin. I am joined this week by John Keenan. John, what are you drinking?
I am drinking something called an Olipop Cherry Vanilla. It's pretty low sugar, but you wouldn't know it tasted it. I like it.
Okay. John Fogenberg, what are you drinking?
I'm on a lime ginger sparkling water because I'm going to be racing later.
And we also have Steph Etienne. Steph, what are you drinking?
I'm having an Arizona strawberry lemonade. It's kind of some kind of fruit juice with strawberries and cit lemon.
Okay, yeah. And because I skipped it, I am drinking a Picaroon's Yippee IPA.
Yippee!
Exactly.
Yippee.
So here we are, Friday.
Speaking
Did
speaking of
anybody do race
happy,
one of HWR? I didn't.
no.
Nope.
I came, no, I came from my parents, so
Oh,
that,
wow. So there are 12 finishers in the in for race one on Swift Power.
that's got to be the lowest for race one ever.
Yeah, interesting.
That's not
Uh, it,
good. Yeah.
it is two laps of the UCI Worlds Harrogate course. So, head
May-
out up the slow grindy hill, head around, do the forward climb, do the top loop, and then do it all again.
I mean,
was about to say makes sense, but the other way around with Podbank Wall or Tour of 212 or Royal Pumper Main are more, I think, more difficult, but that may be because I don't like
yeah.
Podbank Wall.
Yeah, I mean, pot bank,
Nobody,
hit
yeah,
it
nobody
fast.
likes Pot Bank.
Yeah. Hit it fast, suffer through it, and that's all you can do.
Well,
There's gonna be
this one doesn't have Pot Bank wall. This is the forward.
yeah.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, I find this direction more difficult, just because I hate this finish. In I just hate this finish so much.
It is
Oh
a
yeah,
It's a great
oh
finish.
yeah,
It just does not suit me.
yeah. It has the little kicker right before the finish when it goes
And
slide.
then yeah, and then
Yeah,
it continues slight uphill the whole way.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I like a fast finish. I like the finish on this course coming the other way. That's one of my favorite finishes, actually. But
because you're coming down the hill and then you've got just like the sprint from the corner.
yeah, well, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
sprint from before the corner.
Yeah.
So yeah, I this is, but I'm really surprised that we had the numbers that low. Like this traditionally
Yeah.
is not a circuit that scares people off. Um, yeah, I
But but yeah, like we maybe talked so before, Swift Games is still going on, Big Spin is going on.
yeah,
No Springs Chicken has been having good numbers, although it's not on a on a
on
on a
Friday.
Friday, but
Yeah,
the Friday. But people are picking their battles.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I know here anyway, we've had very good weather, so some people possibly riding outside.
Yep.
Um, you know, on the all the way to the east coast of North America.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
it's bit the same. It's been 18 degrees lately, so 65-ish Fahrenheit for those in the US and a couple of Caribbean territories.
Liberia, don't forget Liberia.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, none of the H1 guys raced it. Like they've been racing it pretty regularly.
Yeah, Hydro, yeah.
Is that Hydro? Yeah.
Yeah, they changed their name with some sponsorship deal, I think.
Yeah. Altius, I think.
But yeah, that's fun. Hopefully we get better numbers through the rest of the weekend. Um, yeah, that's unfortunate.
Who is signed up for this afternoon? Might
Yeah,
be
I
the
mean,
opportunity to get those high rankings
Yeah.
for your leaderboard.
Yeah.
that's true. If you're, where are we in the series?
Week 9, so we're in the plus series if you have done all of them already.
Yeah. So best 8 results count. We're at week 9. If you've got some throwaway results and you want a top
Yeah.
10.
Might be a good week. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't have a reason as to why this week is really low, but there we are. Okay. HBR. We have
Some
fan flats. Yeah.
10 laps of Bell Lab. Yeah, he's
Bell Lab.
in.
Yeah.
I think so, or is it for everyone?
Um.
It was shorter for the D's and E's.
Six for D's and E's. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think he improved it because before it was like 5 and 3, but that was a bit too short, probably, because that's
Yeah.
should
That's.
be that 10 laps. It's 25 minutes, maybe 25, 30 minutes. Yeah, depending on.
Yeah. But yeah, 20, 25 minutes. It's on the short side for sure.
Yeah, these laps are about 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2 to 3, depending. Yeah.
Well, I think, isn't it, it's a 2K loop
Yeah.
yeah,
for Bell Lap?
yeah.
Yeah. It
So,
usually
I
gets going
mean,
pretty quick. Yeah.
I would guess that it's probably going to be 3.5 minutes in HBR, something like that.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
30, 35. Yeah. That's a
yeah.
good
yeah.
pick. Yeah.
Maybe more indeed above 30.
Yep.
And it's the reverse direction of downtown Dolphins. You go down the cobbled rise thingy,
Yes.
and
Yes. You turn right
step
out of the pens,
yeah step,
immediately through the
yeah
Rollers.
Sepsari
rollers.
Park
And yeah.
thingy.
Yep. I mean, Crit City is good racing.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, get out there, have fun, and yeah, there's a lot of spots where somebody can attack. So you just gotta keep on people's wheels, attack if you're feeling it, and have some fun.
I did a all-time 30-minute power PR on Bell Lap in a ladder race after getting dropped on lap 3 lap 3 and then chasing the rest of the race.
Oh,
Wow, that
About
sounds awful.
I mean, at some point I just decided like this is a workout now. I never got
Yeah,
back. It was just like how can I do a power PR at this point?
yeah.
Yeah.
And the answer was yeah.
Setting your goals
Like
and
2 weeks
achieving them.
ago, yeah.
Congrats.
it's still a good motivation because sometimes if you get dropped in ladder races and you know you're never gonna catch up, you can either make it a really hard workout or just noodle around and do some for the.
Yeah, I've turned a lot of races into can I do a new best 20 or 30-minute power?
Mm. Mm.
Yep. Well, uh,
Speaking
what's
of
what's
speaking
spring
of
chickens?
20-minute efforts, no spring chicken is on UCI Worlds in Innsbruck. So Innsbruck KOM.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I love that KOM. That was my
Hmm.
first, when I first started riding Zwift, that was one I really liked. I don't know why.
Is it the forward?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
It's the
forward.
forward, yeah. Yeah, so this is around up the is it up the leg snapper first or is that after?
No, that's all
After
after.
it's
Yeah.
2 kilometers, yeah, flattish, and then straight up the KOM.
Yeah. Then down, then the leg snapper. Yeah.
Yeah,
And still come around, yeah, on the sprint if you got anybody around you.
Yeah.
You probably won't.
You probably won't. It'll be
Chances are.
stretched pretty thin.
it's gonna be blown apart on the KOM.
KOM is 7.4K at 5.5%. Uh, I know that the time is ranged from about 20 to 30 minutes,
Yeah.
maybe even a little over, depending on where you're at.
Or a little
And
young, a
maybe,
little under if you're insane.
yeah, I was about to say maybe a little under 20 minutes for some crazy people.
Yeah.
High, yeah, the like 700 plus riders are probably going to be in that sub 20 range, but not many. I think Brent's PR is a 2007.
Yeah. Matt's faster, I think.
Yeah, Map 1830.
Yeah.
Sepp Kuss 1545. So if you're a world tour rider,
Yeah.
Nice.
you can get up there pretty quick.
Yeah.
My personal best from last year is just below 26 minutes.
This
I
is
think that
actually maybe I try and get out and do this one this weekend because this is one of the uh climbs that I don't think I have a real like indicative PR type effort on. Uh, and I think I could cut a minute or two off of what I've got as my current PR.
I definitely could not.
nope, I
Being
definitely can't because I'm just below 26 minutes last year, and that was my all-time, I think, best like 20-minute power that I did. So
yeah. I did a 21:54, but that was 9 kilograms ago.
And doing 300 watts for that 22 minutes, not
Wow.
bad.
290. Yep.
yeah, that was a climb where I did my all-time 20-minute PB power-wise, so and watts per kilo wise. So I'm a long way from that that form because that was end of August. So basically, just after I did my cycling holidays in the mountains, so was in peak form. So, but it's the side of the Innsbruck that I like most because I'm a more steady, same pace climber.
Yeah. I really
Yeah,
like
that's
the
why
other
Craig and I
side.
hate it.
I
Yeah,
really like the other side.
yeah. It's a type of climber you are.
Well, for me anyway, it's the type of terrain I have to ride in real life. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have big long climbs. I go up, go down, go up, go down, go up, go down. So
Me neither, but just like if I'm in the mountains, I like a more steady climb. I can just set my tempo up.
yeah, no, I get it.
Uh,
So yeah, that's fun. I think the other thing I wanted to talk about was the dirt racing series. I know, yeah, it is a nasty, nasty route this week with
What's the overall format of it? It's you got teams, right?
yeah. So you've got team. It's kind of it. So I mean, it's in the
it's
same
similar
flavor
as
as
Speed Pedal
ZRL,
Well.
but there's some important differences that I like.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um, So you've got teams of up to 8. Your best 4 riders count.
I think that's my favorite part is that you don't have to, as a captain, you don't have to cajole or decide which of your riders isn't riding.
Yeah.
So your team as a whole is only 8 riders, but all of those 8 riders can ride, but only the top 4 count for your team score every week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if only 4 show up, you're still okay. But if everybody
Yep.
shows up,
Yep.
then great.
So my team is only
If-
so we all count, and that's fine. And yeah, it's no big deal. I hadn't until right before writing it, basically, I hadn't really looked at their team race format. That was
oh, it
that was
was,
interesting.
it was fun.
It was, yeah. So it's a scratch race with drafting, and but your team's time is your 4th rider's time.
Yeah.
So
And especially with that volcano KOM, it was quite interesting.
yeah, so our race anyway, we actually didn't drop that many riders on volcano.
Yeah, it didn't really happen in ours either.
So I'm not sure why.
I think that it's that most teams probably had similar strength 4th
Yeah.
riders and
Yeah.
didn't want to hurt their 4th guy to try and hurt some other team's 4th guy.
Yeah. So nobody
Uh,
was sure that their 4th guy was better than somebody else's 4th guy and didn't want to do it on I think ours was something like 8.5 or 9-minute climb.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think you went under 8, I think, and I think so did ours. It was fast.
Hmm.
did I go under 8? I didn't think so. Ours wasn't that fast, I didn't think.
Because it's a finish back downtown. What was your route?
Yeah, you still do reverse hilly
Reverse
reverse,
KOM, and then it
and the
finished
finish was
on.
right you do the downhill, and it was straight at the downhill because you take the right back to the where normally the desert pans where at the Fuego Flat Springs where the actual route finishes, but the finish was right after you go onto Ocean Boulevard. It was basically right after the downhill. Yeah, the problem for us, I think most of our league is a really small league. We have on average, we have like 25 people in our races, and basically we have basically 4 teams that yes, and our team we had 7, but we were on the lower end of the team spectrum. So when the volcano started, 3 of our riders had to let go. I was hanging on, and just before the flat section, I was playing the accordion, and I snapped it. The accordion broke. I had to call it out because I was a 4th rider. So the other 3 in front of me had to wait but I went backwards. So luckily, the two of the 3 people that I passed earlier were able to catch on with the 3 front riders, and basically they did the TTT. They caught up with a couple of stragglers from the main bunch, but yeah, they finished as a group way behind the other 3 teams with the 4th rider. They were basically in a group minute or minutes and a half in front of our for our squad. So yeah, but yeah, it's a bit interesting because I've seen races with 60 people, and yeah, you have 25 in our races, and we were like with a team of 7 riders, and the other teams were 4 or 5 riders. So yeah, it's basically 4 teams with 1 team that's technically a team, but they were only two in the race, so the team time race didn't work for them. But yeah,
Well, actually, so I like what Dirt did in that, actually, when it for the rule set in this, because they've got a set penalty for what your penalty is if you don't finish with four riders. I mean, it's significant, but it doesn't knock you out of the league.
Hmm.
the problem is they were with two guys, and I think one is more at the front, and the other guy was
Yeah, I know.
was dead last or after me. So so it didn't really. I don't think it really helped their case.
There were definitely some teams that did not seem to have read the rules and had riders all over the place for sure. But anyway, the uh, the upshot is I really like Dirt Racing Series. It's
Yeah,
it's a little bit I like the rule set better than Zwift Racing League. I like the I like that it's a little bit less demanding than ZRL as opposed to Ladder League, which is way more demanding than ZRL organizational wise.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, I
I
like
also I really like having a large racing series that is based off of velo rather
yeah,
than
yeah,
power. Having these tighter bands where, I was in I'm high platinum, like probably soon to be low amethyst, but like it's an amethyst platinum league.
yeah.
Um, and so most weeks it's really course dependent. A sprint course, I finished top 15. This coming week, I'm gonna probably finish like 50th, um,
yeah.
because the coming week is radio rendezvous with like just yeah,
Hmm.
it's gonna be brutal.
It's gonna suck
Yeah,
so much.
yeah. With a custom finish right at the top of the grade, which is FTS, so it's gonna
Wait, at
be.
the top of the grade or at the top of the
I th
radio tower?
no, they got rid of the custom
It,
finish.
Yeah,
it's a
it says
custom finish right after the
finishing with a
grade.
grueling no, finishing with a
No,
grueling ascent to the top of the radio tower.
yep. So it was originally supposed to be a custom finish, and they got rid of the custom finish. It is now everything.
Oh God.
So people were complaining, I guess, that like, oh, if we're gonna do the course, we want to do the course. So
Well, you could have done the custom finish and ride up Radio Tower if you want to.
No one does that.
no, no one does that.
You finish the grade and you're like, do I want to ride a few more
You
K
know
and
what I'd
finish
like
the
to
thing, or do
do?
I turn right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that change your tactics too? Do you try to get your least good climber, like shelter them for the first 90% of the race somehow?
No, so this one isn't a team race. So
Oh,
this one
it's not.
this one isn't solely your fourth rider. That
Okay.
was that was just the
One race.
Yeah, that's
One
actually
race.
the other thing that I really like about this series is that it's not like half TTTs.
yeah.
We have the team time race,
Yeah.
and then there's points races, and there's actually going to be an ITT,
With auto
which
point,
with yeah,
apparently.
I heard about
Yeah,
it
but
in real life race. I think it's Cape Epic, and they have a time trial.
Yeah.
And one of the bits of it's a team time trial with two riders, and they have randomized time points. I think two or three of them. I'm not sure how many they have, but you have to be within 1 minute of each other, otherwise you get a penalty on
yeah,
Oh,
your
interesting.
overall time. Which
Yeah.
I was like, huh, wonder. That's just, and they don't know when they'll be timed.
Yeah.
Like the riders don't know at all, and they might see it as they go over it. That's like the only.
wait, are they riding together?
Nominally, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
letting pairs off at 1 minute intervals. Or
Okay.
I think I don't know what the intervals are, but yeah, it's like a regular team time trial where the pair goes off and then they wait and another pair
Yeah.
goes off.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
to
the
be fair,
normal.
Cape Epic is like the whole thing is kind of a team time trial. You're not
Yeah,
riding in a
yeah,
bunch.
yeah.
It
It was
seems
about the,
crazy. They don't release maps. They don't tell you what you're going to ride other than give you an elevation profile. Like you don't know what the conditions are. Like
Awesome.
so much about it seems strange.
but I also think because you ride in pairs anyways. I think for most of that kind of riding, you still have to be even outside of the team time trial on stages. You still have to be in a certain time difference from each other. You just can't have your two riders be split up minutes apart. I think you still have to
Hmm.
be near each other. I think it's kind of that setup though.
Yeah, interesting.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting because yeah, before the like I said, it's on Radio Rendezvous, so it's a bit first flat. Then it's I think it was both Mayan and Itza as FAL, and then before that you had the FTS on the grade and also the finish points at the grade. But now it seems finish points at
The
on
radio
the
tower.
radio tower. I don't know if they're gonna do something with the segment of the radio tower.
Nope.
Okay, well, it's basically FAL anyways because it's
Yeah.
finish point.
Uh, but this means that I'm going to that. So that's a brutal climbing
Yeah,
course.
Yeah.
yeah,
And I don't know if anyone else has been doing Zwift Games, but today I will be doing the fifth Zwift
Oh,
Games, which is the
uh,
epic um, course.
If
couple
Uh,
times.
if you do that plus Innsbruck plus DRS, that's a lot, Sean.
it is, yeah. And don't forget the ladder race on Monday
Oh
in
God.
between. So
Get some upgrades on that climbing bike, that's for sure.
yeah. So what is the fifth one is 45K with 900 meters of elevation.
yeah.
Um,
Oh,
and I think, oh yeah. So luckily, it does finish without doing the radio tower. So, you know,
yeah.
But you still have to do. Well, it's a bit of a recon. You still do each Mayan. I think
top half
only
of the
the upper
grade.
part, the upper part of the grade. So and then the last section after the
Yep.
bridge of Epic Reverse, finishing on
Yep.
top of Epic Reverse.
I mean, that's 90% of Epic Reverse, like
Yeah,
except for that first
yeah,
little twist.
All right.
yeah, yeah. The res is it's fun. Of my res, my like I said, my recovery week did this week, but also the park perimeter rope as a sprintier course didn't really suit me anyway because I'm not a sprinter. So hopefully I'm in good condition on Wednesday because I'm more of a climber, but we'll see how it goes. Because um I'm racing in the silver league, but I'm actually more bronze and more of a team is on the lower side. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. No, it was anyway, it was really good. I enjoyed it this week on Park Perimeter. I liked that course. Um as I expected, I got dropped the second time around on Harlem Hill. I got a few sprint points the first lap, so I was that was my mission done, I think. I came 11th to not score any points in the on the third lap for
Oh yeah,
FTS, so that's about par for the course. And yeah, so that was good.
I think I had 11th on the lap 2 FAL sprint.
Yeah.
yeah.
That is always the
Oh
most demoralizing thing when you're
yeah.
like,
Oh, I had a good one, but just
you
not quite enough.
you
Yeah.
know that you going into those, there's the do I fully commit to this how hard do I go? Do I try and save something for the finish? Like
No,
any
I
of
was
those
way
things.
off. I was way
Yeah.
off the back. So it wasn't solo though. I was near two other riders, but I was way off the back. It was go, but it was
Yep.
with no draft. That was everything I could do.
Also a fun course for ladder racing, park perimeter loop.
It is, yeah.
So I think as far as news, there's just the one little thing I think that we want to talk about. Uh, yeah, go ahead.
So all the bikes changed.
Yeah.
All the bikes changed. We can now upgrade them. All the wheels changed. Yeah, bikes now mean more than wheels as opposed to vice versa. Halo bikes. Did I miss anything?
No, I think that's so. Halo bikes, the addition of three new fast bikes.
Yep.
The SL8, the Cannondale, Evo, something something, Super 6, and I think there was what was the third new bike? Oh, it was maybe also like a CAD 13.
Uh,
I think it was a Cannondale CAD 13
maybe.
was also added. Um, yeah, so I think the big top level things are there's a new best all arounder until they decide to nerf it.
Yep.
Uh,
Or, or, or improve it with another new best all-rounder bike, which
Yep.
because we had the Pinarello Dogma for a while, and now this S Works as a Tarmac as a late is basically replacing that one.
it's a little better, and also the Super 6 Evo is a little better than the Dogma is now.
Yep.
Yeah, and also
Um,
like Brand said, the Rainbow disc wheels are now the best, the fastest
They
disc
are.
wheel. I
Yep.
think.
However,
yeah,
disc wheels on the fastest road bike are now slower than the Tron.
Yeah,
yes.
The Tron does not climb well at all.
yeah, yeah. So if you want to, like before when we said all-rounder bikes, people going for Tron, that's actually not the case if you indeed look at the graph. The Tron is basically now
It's
a
your full
fast
aero.
aero bike.
Yeah.
It's-
Yep.
Which,
Um,
yeah, so the other top level thing is we now have upgrades. There are three different types of bikes. You've got a TT bike or TT type bikes, climber type bikes, and road type bikes, each of which gets a different upgrade path. You can gain up to, it's almost a minute for a climbing bike fully upgraded, saves you a minute, essentially a minute up the Alp, you can put it that way.
yep.
Um, a fully upgraded TT bike saves you something like 45 seconds on the flat, or it was 30, something like that,
Yes, I think it's
over an
45
hour.
seconds.
It's
Yeah,
a lot.
And
45
then the road bikes that are fully upgraded get something like 35 seconds. I forget what the specific numbers are, but it's like 30-ish seconds
30,
on the
35.
flat and 30 seconds-ish on the climb over their non-upgraded performance. And these are for bikes that are already, almost 2 minutes faster, 1 to 2 minutes faster on a climb or on flat than uh, the Zwift Carbon, like the basic bike. Meaning that if you are a rider with a fully upgraded top level bike, your bike is going to be something like 3 minutes faster, or yeah, 2.5 minutes faster over an hour on the flat, and about 2 minutes faster on a climb than the basic bike that you get at the beginning of the your Zwift journey. And I think that is the thing that people are. I think there's some frustration that the upgrades are so big.
Yeah.
I actually like it, but as someone who rides a lot on Zwift, I think that it is nice to have, you know, something that your grind actually goes toward. Um, and I think that the only, assuming they get, Zwift Racing score well calibrated at some point, I don't think that what bike you're on actually matters that much except for relative to yourself,
Yep.
because you're still going to be ranked based on your performance in races rather than, you know. So if you're on a bike that's really fast, you might just end up racing against faster people.
Yep. Which I mean is fair. You're
Yeah.
racing against them, and that's the speed you're going.
Yep.
And if you constantly race on, the BMX bike or the Atomic Cruiser, your Swift racing score is going to be slightly depressed, assuming that you aren't of a power profile that would put you at the floor anyway. Some of the guys that, their power profile is pretty flat out to 5 minutes, are their score gets pretty close to the floor anyway. But yeah, there's definitely an element of you can race what you want, and ZRS
Yeah.
should adjust for you a little bit.
Yes and no, I think, because I mean, well, I don't know if I like it. I think there's a lot of conflicted feelings. It really highlights that this is a game and it's an exercise platform and we're racing and trying to compete. And so all those things come into play, but like you kind of have to figure out where you're going to spend your farming time, right? Or am I going to just work on my Tarmac SL8? Oh, but now I'm going to do a team time trial on Thursday. Like I haven't worked on my time trial bike at all. I'm back to, square one on my time trial bike. And then some course comes up and, whatever your next race is, and it's a really climby course, like, well, I don't have anything I've worked on my climbing bike on. So, um, yeah, I don't know.
So
And it's confusing. I think my one frustration is like, oh, I can't keep track of all this.
that's fair.
Yep.
It does in the I think some people have figured out approximately what it's going to take to fully upgrade one of the nicer bikes.
Yeah.
So for the SL8, it'll take something like 1,600 kilometers and 1.7 million drops to fully upgrade, which
Okay.
is, for me, that's probably 2 months of riding ish, month and a half, if I'm doing all of my riding on Zwift. Which I don't know. I think that
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
kind of nice that, you know, it's something to keep the riders that are consistent, uh, like keep grinding that thing so that you've got your. We were talking about this in the Pinktron chat, and the thing that I likened it to was like in any other game, right? You've got this same kind of grinding system. Like the people who have been playing a lot longer have in Diablo or in any of those RPG games, your character gets better. Uh, that is also true of us for riding a lot. You get faster just from riding, but uh, you might be able to buy better weapons or a better car to drive or a better like whatever it is. The
Yeah.
people who play more, like it is a game. They want you to play more so that you have better stuff so that you want to play more. I don't see a problem with that. And it, because of ZRS, it puts the noobs. Uh, One, I think that people are maybe overstating just how big the differences are. So a minute on the climb is about zero point 0.2 watts per kilo. Uh,
Yeah.
there are much bigger differences in fitness for new riders
Yeah.
than there is, like, a new rider could come in at 3.4 watts per kilo and like it, what they're riding doesn't matter that much against someone who's fully upgraded at 3.2, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they're going to be frustrated about is, well, I can't beat the other people who are at 3.4. It's like, well, yeah, they've been grinding.
I I find it odd, not odd, but it's kind of a juxtaposition of we really only had one sort of real performance enhancement, which was your Tron bike. And everybody knew like, oh, you got to get to that once you get the Tron bike, like that's and yeah, you could buy the newest whatever Tarmac SL8 or whatever sort of came out and gave you, a little marginal difference. But I think the Tron was sort of perceived as this is what we're all working here, as long as you keep riding and do all of those elevation meters, you'll eventually get there. And then boom, you've got your sort of best all arounder, which
Basically,
not
in
anymore.
almost
But-
any race other than the ones that go straight up a mountain, the Tron was at worst only a slight disadvantage. It was really
Right.
close to the best.
Right. And now you've got like a million different axes and
Yeah.
I think it's like I mean that's my real like
I
reaction.
I think that what this may end up looking like, there's a couple of different versions of this. One is everyone just upgrades their SL8s and
Yeah.
everyone's just riding an SL8 for
Yeah.
everything. I but I do think that like there are going to be different paths that people take because they're like, I like this bike.
Yeah.
Some people are gonna, it's going to take a long time to fully upgrade a Tron because you have to fully upgrade three other Zwift bikes to even be able to upgrade the Tron.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, because I read that indeed, because it's a Halo bike, you have to, yeah.
So people are just going to be riding around on their like, you know, Craig will fully upgrade his BMX bike whenever he gets it.
Obviously.
But
I'd
like,
never ride another bike.
Yeah. I mean, I think
But
it's
yeah,
neat. It does give you gives you another whole set of goals. Like, okay, you
Yeah.
want to upgrade this bike, and then you want to upgrade two more from that manufacturer so that you can get your Halo bike, and then you want to upgrade that, and then all right, well, move over to the other manufacturer. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
like I want that Pinarello Espada. Like
they're
it's
all
super
pretty
cool.
kooky. They're all have their own.
Yeah,
flair.
I know, John, that you said that you really like the rollerblade bike. I think it's the second ugliest bike after Craig's
I don't know if I
folding.
like it. I looked at it and it just made my brain hurt from the physics. Like what you're turning the steering wheel? Do you just turn each individual rollerblade wheel? Like what? How do they do that?
Yeah. You don't, I can't believe how much you dislike my folding recumbent.
It's so bad.
It really was.
I mean, like I don't know, the rollerblade bike, I very much look forward to the point at which people have that bike
Yeah.
and are
Oh,
riding
yeah.
it around
Yeah.
because it was real and it was basically unrideable. Like
Eh.
I love that like
I don't
this
think it needs.
concept bike is going like they brought it back and now everyone is going to because it's a video game
Yes.
like you can actually ride it and it'll be fast because it was supposed to be fast. It's just that like riding around with four little four, four little rollerblade wheels made it really hard to steer or
Yeah.
I kind of like with the Tron bike because it's
These
now.
two mountain bikes need big tune-ups.
Sorry about that.
First of all, I find it's kind of hilarious that now, as we discussed, that the Tron bike is now basically the fastest aero bike and not a very good climber, but you still have to unlock it by doing lots of climb, which makes it a bit contradictory. And it's
Yeah.
also to upgrade it, like I said, you have to. It's I think maybe well, it's more about riding, but with Tron, you have to upgrade your the basic Swift bikes, which are basically the outside of the special bikes, the worst stuff, their field like road bike, mountain bike, whatever, versus like the specialized. Although it's more about climbing and riding your bike. So if you're not racing, it doesn't really matter on which bike you are basically. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see. But yeah, like you said, people like you in the past. You have a lot of people on Tron. You have the on the fastest bike on the Venge or the Yatas on racing, and now with lately with Pinarello Dogma, you see also a lot of people on the Pinarello Dogma. Yeah, you will see the now a lot of people that do have 1.87 million for to buy the tarmac. But yeah, that's yeah, it's cookie cutter, but that's also with video games. If something is the best or the best all rounder, people are going for it. It's the same with
But are they? I guess that I started. I mean, when you look at the universe of Zwift riders, right? I think my perception is that the racers are a pretty small sliver of that, right? Like, I don't know, what, 15% maybe? Like sort of dedicated racers,
I don't
yeah
20%.
trust the,
maybe
I don't trust those numbers.
Okay.
Mainly because
What's the denominator is the problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
what's the denominator? Because the denominator, I think, is everyone who's ever registered for an account, not everyone who's paying this month.
Right.
Okay. So if
I
you would
think,
put kilometers of racers versus everyone else's kilometers, it
yeah,
would be a
well, so
bigger
not even
number.
kilometers. I think if you just take out the people that registered and aren't currently paying,
Hmm.
um, I think it's a much higher percentage.
yeah maybe it's a skewed field because I don't really race uh much like other races, but I do a fair bit of racing. But yeah, if you look on the in the real world while doing like one of the group rides or the big spins, you see indeed lots of bikes, even people on a flat course with a mountain bike, even
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that.
safety
Yeah.
bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, hand cycles. Yeah, I think they're. I mean, I don't know. Does Zwift, is this really for racers? I don't feel like it is. Is it to keep people engaged in the game and going for, new achievements and new things to unlock? I think that's really their. I mean, there's so many of them. That's got to be what they were really going for, right?
Well, and I think there was a big complaint on I've got nothing to do with my drops.
Yeah,
That's huge. Yeah.
I've bought my best thing. I've bought my
Right.
best aero bike. I've bought my best climber. I've bought my best all rounder.
Right.
Um,
And I don't need any of the rest of those
and I
bikes.
don't
I,
want
I
the
have
rest
one
of the
of
bike.
each.
I
Right.
don't want the rest of the bikes because it just makes things harder to
Right.
find when I'm trying to
Yeah.
switch.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, just adding more bikes wasn't doing it because
Right.
it was making the game worse, not better.
yeah, and like I said, people who want that performance, either if it's racing or they want to do a good, like, I don't know, if they like climbing, they want the fastest climber, they're going to look up which bike is the best combination for climbing, and people are going for that. It's like I said, that's why you have for racing certain bikes that people are min-maxing, but that's the game part, like Sean said. If you look like an FTS or a RPG or an MMO, people are going to go for the items or whatever that improves their character the most, essentially.
Yeah,
but
I still think there's a big chunk of folks who are on Zwift to stay fit, whatever that looks like. They're gonna jump in the Zwift big spin. They're gonna do that a bunch because that's fun and you get to win stupid prizes. I mean, they're not stupid, but
Ish.
the BMX bike isn't
it's not-
stupid.
No, right. I didn't mean to insult that in any way. But I think there's a pretty big chunk of people on like even the herd group rides. Like I don't think most of those people race regularly. I think some of them probably, maybe they'll jump in a race now and then, or they'll do like they have their one dedicated thing. They always do the third, like there's plenty of Thursday time trial folks who are right. They've been doing it 150 races now.
Yeah, and those
which
are
is
racers.
Those are racers. Yeah.
Those are definitely racers.
I will say that the one of the few, I mean, there are arguments, and I see the arguments for like why this is problematic for racing. One of the worst ones to me is actually trying to build a pull sheet for a team time trial team if
Oh,
everyone has like varying
yeah.
levels of time trial bikes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, but if everybody's riding time trial bikes, it's at least well, we don't.
They'll all be fast.
They'll be fast, presumably. I say we don't have those new numbers from Eric yet, but yeah, big shout out to Eric Slunish for being very fast and getting us all these new numbers after that game update. Swift fed a bunch of stuff to him early, but it's for us data junkies, it's nice.
I'm looking forward to how the people of Swifter bikes are going to handle all the upgrades levels.
I've not loved their product anyway, but that's I've said it before. It's a thing. It's fine, but I think people who just take it are. I don't think it takes a lot of things for racing into a game.
Yeah. But and I can see also John's points because I've stopped playing it, but I played a fair bit of WoW, and like I said, in WoW you have the competitive. If you compare it, you have the racers of WoW, the mythic raiders, are really into the competitiveness, but you have also people just playing the game and going for cosmetics, doing mount farms. So want to do transmarks, and those are indeed the people that do group rides, do fun rides, and yeah. And I can see for those people, they just want to unlock or buy the cool bikes, no matter what their performance is. So I can see why they keep making certain frame bikes. So if people are interested, because sometimes people just see it on, I ride a Canyon Arrow this type. It's in the game. I want the bike in game that I ride in real life, and I just want to ride that. So
I will definitely be one of those people who I definitely want all three of those Halo bikes.
Yeah.
Right.
I will
want them.
I don't ride enough in game. I will probably never get
them. And it takes it's going to take a long time. Like the entry. So I've got something here that gives an estimate of approximately how much riding it's going to take for each level of things.
Yeah.
The entry levels, it's like 600, what is that? 2, 4, 7. Yeah, like 800 kilometers of riding for like upgrading an entry level kind of bike.
And that's fine.
Okay.
That's not
It's 1600 for the high end. It's somewhere in between for the mid range. It is going to be 5,000 kilometers to upgrade a Tron.
Yeah.
That's a year.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about a year.
And that's on
and then
top of the 3 other bikes that you have to fully upgrade that are like, so that's another, even if you
Oh,
do
yeah.
3 more entry level ones, that's another 2,400
so
kilometers.
that 5,000 kilometers is only for the Tron bike to get it
Yes.
fully upgraded. Okay, yeah, and then you have to have the 3 basic Swift bikes.
And that's just doing the distance. I'm sure that like doing the elevate this is going to get a lot more people on some climbs again that are not just doing it because they need their Tron bike. I personally like, I don't remember the last time that I just went and rode Alpe d'Huez Zwift. Might do
Uh,
if I'm looking to upgrade a climbing bike or get an upgrade like a weight savings upgrade on whatever bike that I'm currently grinding.
Yeah. Well, and
yeah,
that's interesting because I remember, before I got the Tron, I was when I was doing a workout, I'd go do Road to Sky to get as many meters towards the Tron as I could and stuff like that. So
And I guess this does give folks the option of like they can do time trial stuff if that's their bag, or they can do climbing stuff if they, want to work on a climbing bike. It's not all climbing for the Tron bike. So I don't know if
yeah.
that was.
I looked it up recently. I'm now plus 2 years on Zwift since I know only done up the Zwift 3 times.
And how many Ventops?
0. I did Loran, and that's the closest that I got to Van Top, and it's not really Van Top.
You should definitely do a Ventop.
Yeah, I know.
I think I've only done 3 or 4, but it's
I mean, this gets back to last week. Like they just keep adding more and more routes. Like it's a discouragement. Like, okay, I'm gonna go do this new one, even though it's the same roads and everything. But I'd rather do,
I like the
the new
people
London
you can
one.
follow it on Companion app, but the people have spreadsheets of which routes they need to do and
yeah.
just for full completion. But that's coming back to like quote unquote casuals, just the 100% full completionists of certain video games. It's those type of people.
But I wouldn't call that casual. That's
Yeah,
serious.
but it's quote
So the
unquote.
completionist mindset is serious in its own way, for sure.
Yeah, I know. I
It's
said
just
quote unquote.
different. It's different than the person competing, trying
Yeah,
to get as good as they can. Like it's 2 different things, but
yeah,
they're both valid, serious ways to take a game.
yeah. That's why I said quote unquote casuals, because people that want to do collect all the mounts, you can consider them in while under casuals, because the more hardcore are considered the raiders or the racers of WoW. But yeah, it's just a name. It's what's
So what's the verdict from each of you I mean, we are probably the target for a lot of this.
Are we?
I think that yeah, I would say so. Like getting, you know, maybe they're trying to figure out how to get Craig Martin to stay paying on the platform uh, by giving him something to do with his Zwift BMX bike if he can just ride enough times on Big Spin.
Yeah.
But like, what's your verdict on this? If you know, I think it's a game. There's, you know, get some things to motivate people to play the game approach to it. And then there's yeah, but this is racing and all racing should be based purely on how, how strong and how well you played the game.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I love it yet, but I I think I don't like it. But I'm old and resistant to change. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm willing to try it, but I think I don't like it. Um, it yeah, definitely it might make somebody decide to ride Zwift instead of riding outdoors, and I'm not sure that's a good thing. That's yeah, as much as Zwift is good and fun and all, I think riding outdoors is better for us. So
Uh, I think that is 90 something percent true.
well,
I've never almost been hit by a car while
well,
riding
yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna
Zwift.
say, so minus the danger of being run over
Yeah.
by people in a car on their phone.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
my first thought.
but yeah, but in general, being outside, not in your basement, is better for you. And being outside, not looking at a screen, is better for you, and all of this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's that. But no, as I've dug more and more into it, I'm not quite as against it. The only thing I think they may have overshot, and it's not like they won't readjust because they've always readjusted with this stuff. I think the amount that the upgrades are going to do, that seems like a lot. So that's my only like, yeah, that's a lot of performance to hide behind a lot of grinding. So that's kind of my only that's probably my biggest reservation.
For me, I think I feel like it's too much. Like we had the challenge it like the three challenges, and then they added like a fourth challenge that you could, I don't know, could you pick one or it sort of rotated? They had some flexibility there, and now it just feels like there's a lot of different things. And maybe it's the old man system too, where I'm like, it's too complicated. And I'll just figure it out because it'll say, hey, your bike's ready for an upgrade. And I'll click the button and I've got 25 million drops. So it's almost irrelevant if it costs something. But I think I've come through the phases of grief on the racing front, thinking, oh, this is just gonna blow up racing and make it really like not fair. But I think your point, Sean, about like, you're doing a Swift racing score. I mean, if you're always riding on a slow bike, then you're on a slow bike or a fast bike, whatever it is, you're in that zone and yeah, yeah. And at the end of the day, it isn't about my Swift racing score. It's about my fitness and how well I'm doing. Am I progressing? Am I at least maintaining and hopefully not getting slower? And if it's an incentive to ride more, even if it's not outside, I think it's still a good thing. Definitely gets me feeling more as the weather warms. I was definitely sort of noodling on different outdoor routes and thinking, oh yeah, I should try this other one. I've never gone this direction. And the weather has not cooperated where I'm living, but soon it will, I'm sure.
I've only had snow
So
once in the last 2 days, so
we had hail a couple days ago, so that was unpleasant. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me it was played a lot of MMOs, so video games. So I'm seeing the gamification from it and the grinding parts that are recognized, and some people enjoy that. And it's also working to a certain goal that people want. First, I was thinking for racing, let's nullify it or set it at zero. But like you said, like Sean said, even with real race biking, people are min-maxing, getting the best bikes that they can afford, even in video games. If you like MMOs, you want to go for certain gear pieces to improve your character or improve your DPS, and your DPS could be miles improved by that. So I can see it there. And like Sean said, you have still the fitness part, because you sometimes see it on the road, people with like a $10,000 bike, for instance, but with the beer guts
Yeah.
as large that you need. What's that? I don't 500 grams that it's saved on buying a better performance bike if you're carrying like 15 kilos more than another guy. Yeah,
So I'm gesturing towards the BMX bike in the background that I cannot ride anywhere close to its capability. That bike was on that frame, not that specific one, but one the same, was on the gate in the Olympics.
Mm.
Yeah, I will never begrudge someone getting nice gear for their
Yeah.
hobby if they can afford it and they enjoy it. Um,
yeah,
I just because you can't use it to the utmost, I'm like, I mean, I'm also fine if somebody wants to come out to the track and race against me on a bike they bought off Facebook Marketplace for $50. That's really, really a cheap park bike. As long as parts aren't falling off it and it's dangerous, go for it, bud. And
Uh,
have fun.
as Brent said in the chat, uh, this just absolutely blows my mind. Cycling companies convince all kinds of weekend warriors to spend thousands of dollars on aeroframes and carbon wheels and ceramic jockey wheels, all part of the sport. The E version lets you upgrade a bike. Outrageous.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
need
And
your
Mark,
titanium drop seat bolt.
yeah, but coming back to Craig, I wasn't belittling, but it's sometimes funny. You
No,
laugh sometimes. That times at the other eyes, you see somebody really fat, but with a real uh the latest bike or the lightest bike. You think for performance, that's not really gonna matter. And fair play to them if they want that bike and they enjoy riding with it outdoors. So
yeah,
that's really great. But it was more putting it in the perspective of, in the game you can still have the best upgraded bike in the world, but if you don't have the fitness, you still need to pedal and put out the watts or a thing. You might have a slight up upgrade and climb 50 seconds faster than an unupgraded bike. But if you're low wattage than somebody else, it's not really gonna matter. And that's a bit the comparison with people, with a fatter person on a slick bike outdoors compared to a lean person on the same bike. Yeah,
yeah. No,
I
it's
think the thought that we just neutralize bikes in all races also doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
yeah,
Uh,
because
I mean,
it takes away a factor where you have the ability to optimize your to make a choice depending on you and what you think
yeah,
you're going to be able to do in that race
but
in a race.
yeah,
also, right, like so yes, there are certain races where things are neutralized. Track track events in the Olympics.
Yeah.
No,
No, they're not. Very
like Kieran. Sorry, like Kieran Racing, for example.
yes. So
Like,
Japanese Kieran,
yeah,
absolutely. Yep. Everybody's on virtually identical equipment. Yep.
yeah. So there are versions of this where it's like, you've got events where everyone's on essentially the same bike.
Yeah.
But are we gonna go like the amount of money that people spend on getting a better version of a thing to go race on? Like, we're not gonna go to Kona and tell people that they can't have their $15,000 like tri bike,
Yeah.
or that everyone has to be on the same tri, like
The same $300
Yeah.
right, the same
$1,000
$300 tri bike.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's even more like this is more like you know, doing the thing is the thing that gets you the better version.
Yeah.
And that
Right.
is the thing that I like is like, okay, well, I will never be able to afford a $15,000 tri bike. Maybe the virtual one, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's so I get you kind of went around the outside of where the other part of my objection that I didn't talk about is that this feels like the the slope into microtransactions into pay to win. Where
If that's the direction they go, I also don't like it.
yeah. So yeah, I mean the thing is legitimately it's not pay to win, it's pay for a 2% advantage or something.
Yeah.
And like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? If that makes Swift profitable, okay, my Swift score will be slightly lower than it would be otherwise. And I might finish slightly lower in races. And does that really change my life? No. And I'm okay
Yeah,
with
I wonder if we'll notice, right? Will we
it.
ever
I don't think
really
I would.
notice?
I don't think I would really notice.
Yeah.
Lots of people would be, this guy on that bike, whatever. Like, I don't care. That's not the. I've talked myself out of my objection now. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and it's
That is the. It feels like the slide into pay to win. Um, I guess even the way it sits right now, if you're paying a few bucks for a couple 100,000 drops or something, does that really change things that much? Probably not.
yeah, and also you can skip it paying drops to unlock it, but you still need to put in some kind of work. They still have you have to put in the kilometers or the
Yeah.
elevation meters to it's two-step process, so it's not you can
Oh,
entirely
I think
pay
if
to
this,
skip.
yeah, if the microtransactions turned into a major part of Zwift's income, I think you'd quickly find there was a way to get around all of the grinding. But
I have to believe the people who run Zwift are terrified of microtransactions after the last subscription increase debacle, right?
but I don't think
Debacle.
so. Like honestly, microtransactions to me it seems like a no-brainer. Especially do it for appearance items.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want
Right. Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
if you want
I
to
was
pay, if you want to pay $1,000 to get your kit in the game next week, pay it.
yeah.
Source that across 15,000 herd members. So
Yeah.
maybe 100 are willing to pay $10. No problem.
If it's pure cosmetics, it
I
will
love
work.
it. I love the idea for cosmetics. It really
Yeah.
feels like the way that makes Zwift a viable product, not just burning venture capital.
And
Yeah.
and I think you haven't taken away the user's agency, right? I can decide to do that, or I can decide not to do that. I'm going to
Yeah.
play the game I want to how I want to play it.
And
Um,
and the the pay to win, or but the not the pay to win, but the pay for an advantage. Depending on how much it's done. Yeah, I mean, if you create a frame that costs a bunch of money, costs you $50, but it makes you a minute faster on on Tempest Fugit, or a minute faster up the Alp. Yeah, that's nuts.
Mhm.
And that then you start getting people really kind of, yeah, and you get the lashback. But if it's in kind of this kind of space that we're in now, you're not getting minutes, but tens of seconds. Yeah, I think it would probably work. Future Craig here. The last minute of us beating that dead horse was lost to internet something. So here I am solo, wishing everybody a good weekend, good racing, moo, and good night.